Knowledge does not create success. I'm sure you've heard a lot of people tell you that the smarter you are, the more money you'll make, but that's false. Why? Because excess knowledge leads to information fatigue and paralysis. Let me explain why. So let's talk about why smart people stay broke, and it's really thinking versus taking action. So I have a lot of really brilliant and intelligent friends. You wouldn't believe how smart some of my friends are. 20 times more articulate than me and 15 times more intelligent than me. But yet, they never build anything. Why? Because they tell themselves mentally that they're doing work by researching and gathering all this knowledge, but in the end, it's all useless if you learn 100 things but apply nothing, right? So why don't smart people apply anything? Because of information fatigue, like we said earlier. So the thinking feels productive to some people, where you're watching and consuming all this information, but it's really a trap if you don't end up using it. Some people may argue, well, I'm actually becoming smarter, I'm gathering more knowledge, it could benefit me in the future. But unless you have extremely good memory, which is very rare, where you have fabulous memory, you're going to forget it if you don't apply it or spend time revising everything you learned in the previous days and memorizing it over and over again. So again, that's something worth considering if you make that argument. Well, what actually creates success, right? It's to launch your project and fix it later. And you have to avoid information paralysis, avoid going down these rabbit holes to where you have so much ways you can understand something and see how it can go wrong in 1,000 ways and this and that. If you have something that already is a minimal viable product, an MVP that you've tested and proves it works, okay, there you go. You just have to keep using your intelligence to develop that, right? So focus on making an MVP, because life isn't a business school. It's actual reality to where you're not graded on how smart you look and intelligent you talk. You know, you may be in a presentation with a really high potential customer and you want to say this really smart thing, but he's interested in talking about this. You have to throw out that smart thing. You're not trying to show off anymore, and you just have to talk about what that customer is interested in to get them to buy whatever you're trying to sell. So it's very important to always run experiments regularly. You know, it's just finding one equation that works. So to find an MVP that's good, that's cheap, you just make the basic ones, and you just have to try them all until you find one that works, and that's it. You just need to be right once. You see why some stupid people are successful? Because ironically, I would argue these stupid people are smarter because they have a real smartness in the sense of they have practical smarts. So we're talking about running experiments, and some examples of that can be, for example, if you live in a high-income place, just borrow a pool cleaning kit and go down and knock on some doors in your neighborhood. One customer is enough to show you it's worth it, and you can make a lot of money, okay? More than any researcher at a university would make if you did this consistently. Same with car detailing. And if you don't know how to do these skills, you find someone and you say, hey, I'll just work for free, can you just teach me the basics? And then you start doing it yourself. It's that easy. You can call these businesses like, hi, I'm Jack from this, I study at high school XYZ, and I really want to learn more about plumbing. Can I just do like this thing for you where I work for free or follow you around to learn more about plumbing? Some people might say yes. Call 50 businesses. So that's about it. And you try and find one that doesn't have expensive equipment like scaffolding or anything technical like roofing where you need very expensive material. Learn something easy that you can start off with. This is just if you want to try minimal viable products that you think would work in your area. And then you can even always promote them once you have your own service by creating SEO for your website or local SEO, or creating videos on YouTube or shorts on TikTok, not TikTok, Instagram and YouTube Shorts. And then you have no excuses. So be smart in the right way. Because I know a lot of intelligent people that, tell me that, if I wanted to be a billionaire, I would be a billionaire in a week or something like this. And they've never tried a single business in their lives. So most smart people don't have the ability to simplify things. But real smart people have the ability to take really complicated concepts and simplify them with their vocabulary to where anyone can understand that, because that is an intelligence skill. That proves you're intelligent if you can simplify complex concepts. So you have to understand in life, you don't want to get stuck in information fatigue. You have to simplify it, right? So you want to be useful, not impressive. Like we said earlier, you're not in school, you're in real life now. You're not trying to show off to people. You're just trying to show that you care. And they don't, because customers don't care about how much you know. What they care about is that you care about what they want in the end, their end goals, their objectives, and you'll help them get there. And that's what you talk about. You don't talk about how you memorize this or that, and you know this so well, and you brag about this and talk about these complex words and use this complicated lingo to confuse your customers or potential leads to show that how smart you are. Okay, you're no longer the teacher's pet. And that brings me to my next part about humility. Real smart people are humble. Now, I know there are some statistics out there that show people who are in offices, who are the most arrogant and least intelligent, are most likely to succeed. But in entrepreneurship, I don't think that applies as much. Only in sales, maybe. But when you're running stuff, I don't think so. Like I said, there are so many young people who are really smart in school, but in real life, not so much. But when you ask them about business, they'll say, oh, I could easily start $1 million business in a month or a year or whatever. But they have no practical experience. So it's about being humble and identifying what you can do, what you can't, and how you can progress forward, and the importance of throwing stuff at the wall to try and find something that works, and hopefully you find a good MVP and move on from there. So what you do is you always have to be measuring your results. If your answer is, I'm not measuring anything, I have no data points, then you're not very smart, are you? And even if you don't care about money, how about this? If you really don't care about money, but because you could easily make $1 million if you started your business, right? Okay. Then why don't you just create something for the good of people, for the good of the things you care about, to protect whatever. I'm sure you have things you like or care about. Make something that makes people who do this thing easier for them, and make it for free. Why not? What's stopping you there? So paralysis is really the killer of businesses. You have to learn to avoid it and take action and keep trying until you find the minimal viable product that works, because success is all about momentum. It's not about mastery necessarily in the beginning when you're just trying to get started. And if you already are established and you have a good local business and you're trying to get more local customers to find you, or businesses if you're B2B, book a free call with me. I specialize in Google Maps local SEO, so head over to vortexrenker.com. We'll help people on Google Maps find your business faster, and Google Maps is the place everyone goes to find services or products around their local area. So that's about it for today. I hope it was helpful, so take care.